Hi guys, Tracy in Australia with another journal share. This one is a design team project for a fellow Australian. Fiona's shop is called Red Deer Printables. You can find her on Etsy, and this is her kit called Fairies in My Garden. And what I've done is I've used the pages from the kit, resized them to make them quite a lot smaller, and made a fabric and lace journal. So let's go through the front. We have this beautiful, well, let me see, where's it gone? We have this beautiful handmade and very delicate doily, which I've cut in half. And then over the top of that, I've layered a really delicate and fine embroidered doily in yellows and oranges. And I've picked up that oranges with these pretty little velvet leaves. So a couple of pearl buttons, an applique butterfly. This gorgeous synthetic tulle-like fabric came from a friend's very old wedding dress, and she gifted that to me because she didn't have any daughters, and so I've used that in a lot of projects, sewing and junk journals, and I absolutely love having it. Up the top here is a gorgeous vintage gold applique. So you can see this beautiful vintage looking fairy that I've used on the front. This is actually one of the large cards that comes in the kit, and I've put her on the front. So this is a single signature journal. It doesn't have very many pages because the fabric and lace pages are quite chunky. On the back here you can see the beautiful fabric lace. It was actually an old lace curtain, but it's quite textured and quite cottony, and I've used that as the basis of all the pages in the book. So on the spine I've put a couple of imitation pearls. The seam binding for the closure. So let's have a little look inside. So for my closure, I've actually used the top of the curtain, and I've sewn that to the cover of the journal and threaded the sari silk through it. So that just gives it a little more firmness. This is my first page. This is one of the beautiful pages from the kit. I just love that tree. We've got a beautiful fairy down here, a little butterfly, a little fairy on the top up here, and I've used lots of different bits and pieces to embellish this one. There's a bit of a doily, tiny little doily motif that's come from a much larger doily. A little bit of gathered sari silk, this little black and gold trim, some netting, and some old bits of lace fabric that I've cut and appliqued onto there. Down the side here, some Venice lace trim. So this is the first, the back of this one has a pocket made from the same top of the curtain, and then I've put some velvet flowers, a little motif, doily motif, and a little pearl button, some tea-dyed muslin, some apricot lace up here, and just to give a bit of interest, and a little bit of lace, a button, and some sari silk. So this is an embossed card, and anyone who's seen any of my journals knows that I like to use embossed cards. I've stamped a postcard on the back. This one also has a little bit of Inca gold to bring up the embossing a little bit. So to provide some journaling space, I made some little booklets. Used an image from the kit and then some tea-dyed pages inside. I've also stamped on some of them. So this one's really cute, and it says make your own magic. So just in keeping with that theme of fairies and being in your garden, and some little sparkly hearts on the strings. So absolutely adore this image. So this is one of the pages. Here's a fairy standing on a toadstool. There's a little ant on the leaf. The detail is just lovely, and so are the colors. So very similar. Lots of vintage pieces of lace. This is the same trim that I've used on the front, and then I've added a little bit of gathered organza trim with some pearls there as well. And then at the back, I've made a vertical pocket out of a very wide piece of lace, put a bit of Venice lace there, a little bit of seam binding up here. So I included this gorgeous photo of this little girl. She reminded me of a fairy. This is the other embossed card, and it's actually a tree, and I've just added some glitter to the leaves of the tree. So again, tea-dyed paper on the back so that you've got some writing space. And here's the next page. Beautiful handmade doily, piece of a handmade doily. That same organza trim with the pearls, a little bit of net lace down the bottom, and some very old daisy lace. I remember having that on a dress when I was a little girl. I've also added some of the same pearls onto some garment pins. So there's 3 of those. And here we are over onto the next pocket. So this is a very old piece of embroidery. This was from a very large doily that was falling apart, and so I've just salvaged that and then added some bits of crochet lace to the top. There's a little bit of appliqued lace fabric up the top, and I've also stamped the word fairy onto a bit of cotton tape. So there are 2 little elements that go in this. I've made a little paper bag, and these are a card and a tag that come in the kit. There's a page of these, and this is actually meant to be a pocket, and I've just cut it down into a card. So you get 3 cards and 3 tags and 3 pockets in the kit, and they're very pretty. So I've popped those into a little bag made out of old-fashioned lolly paper bags. So here's another little booklet. This one says smile, breathe, and believe in magic. And again, put the butterfly in there. So that provides some pages for writing. So this next pocket is again made out of the top of the curtain. I've added some other bits and pieces to it. There's some sari silk, more stamping onto tape that I've sewed in. Again, a little bit of embroidered lace fabric up the top. So I made this tag from card stock and added some little pieces for interest, a button, a little tag, a little bit of lace with a distressed rusted pin, and then added these fibers up the top. So this is one of the large tags that comes in the kit. I've backed it onto music paper, and I have also made it a little bit smaller to be more in keeping with the size of the journal. One of the other embossed card. Just love this page. The colours are beautiful. Here's a beautiful fairy standing on this gorgeous flower, and down here we have this lovely snail. This is a very vintage trim. I remember having some of this on a dress when I was a little girl. It's organza, and it's pleated, and then the edges are ruffled, and then there's flowers down the middle. So a vintage lace applique up the top, some cotton laces. And then on the other side we have another pocket. This is made out of a hand crocheted doily, and I've added some more velvet leaves, a little bit of bling, and some muslin there. And also used the name of the journal up the top, Fairies in My Garden. So this is the other notebook, and in this one I've actually got a secret pocket, and these are part of a set of 8 cards that's provided for journaling in the kit. So this gorgeous fairy on the front, and I've backed her onto music paper, and then this one flips up. And again, the hearts on the strings up there. And another garment pin with a pearl. So again, some Venice lace that makes it look like a banner, and then various bits and pieces frame this beautiful image of this fairy standing on these toadstools. I've added the little velvet leaves, and these were from a gorgeous handmade doily, and I love that dark colour. I didn't tea dye them, they were actually that colour. And onto the last pocket. Again, I've used a part of the top of the curtain and added various bits and pieces for interest. This is the other tree embossed card with the gold leaves, and on the back, as I say, I put tea dyed paper. So this is the other little booklet, and in here also 2 cards that you can do extra journaling on. So they just pop in behind that music paper. And here we have this beautiful fairy standing on this very large toadstool. So this is like a little open up booklet. I've got the other craft tag that I made. I popped a little, one of the smaller tags on there. And little flip up book. And another of the lolly bags that I made, and the other tags. I love this tree image. As I said, part of the kit, but you actually get 3 tags and 3 pockets, but I've used them slightly differently. And so that pops in there, and there we have it. This is the last page that I've decorated. Love this glitzy piece. This is from some lace fabric, and it's very gold and very glittery. It has sequins on it. It's gorgeous. This is a vintage piece that I've appliqued on, gathered or pleated some sari silk, put this trim on it, made a little flower here out of bits and pieces, and put a pearl button, some cotton lace down the side there. And the other image of the fairies with this tree. Just beautiful. So 2 fairies and a butterfly down here. Okay, so that's my take on a fabric and lace doily. I hope that you've enjoyed that, and I would really appreciate comments or likes. So thank you so much for watching.